All right, so let's talk about this Cavs back-to-back. They won both of these games. First game was against the Pacers, and Donovan Mitchell was the story, right? I think Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell are really the story for the Cavs in total, because I think secretly it's going to be hard to convince like everybody of this argument, right? I understand I'm walking an uphill battle, but please consider that the defensive side of the game is part of the game. And you can't just ignore somebody's impact there. And I think it's becoming obvious, at least to me, and maybe it will become obvious to you in a few weeks. Evan Mobley's actually the second best player on the Cavaliers right now. I understand. People are going to say it's Darius Garland, because Darius Garland scores more points. And Darius Garland is much more important to the offense, and he's a shot creator, and that's difficult. But Evan Mobley's been getting 17 to 18, like similar. Like he doesn't get the 25, 30, and 40-point games that DG gets on every once in a while, on a semi-consistent basis. But he does get a pretty consistent 17 to 20. And that's pretty much what Darius gives you offensively, on average, this year at least. And not only is Evan giving you that, Evan's getting to the free throw line. Evan's getting rebounds. Evan's the best defender on the team. Evan's getting blocks. Evan's spacing the floor. Evan's getting assists. If we're looking at this as like basketball players, like everything that they do, I think there's a real argument, and a convincing one, that you can make to Evan Mobley. Not saying like Darius Garland fell. Darius Garland's still very good. This is what's encouraging about it, is that Darius Garland's still very good. Jared Allen is still very good. And Evan Mobley is still the second best player on this team. And he's only 21. That is huge for the Cavaliers, right? I talk about this all the time. The Cavs' real championship window starts when Evan Mobley becomes the best player on this team. Because that's the guy who can be all NBA, best player on the championship team. Donovan Mitchell, we'll see. Even though he's making a convincing argument right now. We'll see. But Evan Mobley is the one I'm confident, once he becomes the best player on this team, he is that guy. And again, the offense is not like super polished, but it's getting clean. Like them 3-pointers are starting to hit, and not just hitting like in clutch situations. There's a couple games in a row where he's had a clutch corner 3, and that 3 is smooth. I'm just saying, man, Evan looks pretty good. He looks like the second best player on this team, especially once you factor in defense. But let's talk about the best player on this team, Donovan Mitchell. And I think it's important to point out, what Donovan is doing this year is impressive. But we need to put it in perspective, because the expectations were high for Donovan when he got traded to Cleveland. And he's exceeded those expectations. Like straight up exceeded them. The Cavs traded for the guy that was in Utah in 2021, right? The 26 point per game guy. They got a better player. And to prove that point, let me compare his career numbers to what he's doing in Cleveland. Career, he is a 24.3 point per game guy. This year, 29.7. If he finishes with that, that will be a career high. That is a jump from +6 on his career average. +6. +6. Assists are about the same. Rebounds are about the same. His free throw percentage, he's at about 90. He's a career 84% free throw shooter. And he's getting to the line one more time a game than his career average. Not a high for him. His highest is 5 in 2021, but he's pretty close to the career high there. And he is shooting better from the free throw line than he did that year in Utah. From the floor, we already did points per game. 3-pointers. Let's look at 3-pointers. He's a career 37% shooter. He's at 44 this year. So it's a huge jump. And he's a career, he takes about 7.8 threes a game, so about 8 threes a game. Now he's taking 9. So with one more 3, he is much more accurate. It's a big jump. That's a leap. Field goal percentage, he's a career average 45% from the floor guy. He's at about 50, close to 51% this year. And he's averaging one more shot. So he's taking more shots. He's making more shots on a consistent basis. Defensively, he's been much better than he's been against his career. The advanced numbers say this as well. And his win shares say this as well. His win shares over 48, right? So an estimate of a number of wins contributed to a player by 48 minutes. So per 48 minutes. His career number is a .127. This year he's at 221. It's a huge leap. His win shares, just total win shares this season, is at 4.4. Last year he had 7 all year. He's at 4 already. 7 all year last year. His best year, his most efficient year was 2021, and that was at 6. He's already at 4.4. That's insane. That's insane. Just straight up insane. He's at 1.4 defensive win shares this year. Last year he had 2.5 all season. Again, like, he has been so much better than advertised. He is right now at 645 true shooting percentage. He's a career 561 guy. His player efficiency rating is at 25. He's a career 19. Like, he is much, much better. The player that the Cavs traded for is not the player that they're getting right now. They're getting a better player than what they traded for. Like, that's insane to say because, again, the expectations were high with Donovan. They were not low. He's just been better. Straight up better than he was last year. Like, I think he was an all-star starter in the West, or he might have come close. He's an all-star starter for sure this year. I don't know who starts over him. Maybe there's somebody you can make the argument, but he's definitely in the conversation at the very least. That's how much better Donovan Mitchell has been than what he's been in the past. And he's been a pretty goddamn good player in the past. He's just insane right now. Insane. Evan Mobley, I feel like he's coming along much better, 6 of 10 from the floor against the Pacers. Again, he made a 3. So he's coming along with that 3-point shot, 9 rebounds. And I think he's been looking pretty good. If we jump to the Mavericks game, I felt like this was a very good game for Evan. I felt like both his Mavericks games were pretty good for him, especially defensively. Also in this game, what I saw the Cavs result to more, which was interesting, was there would be times where both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley would be on the wing, just defending. And I think they resorted to this because both Dean Wade and Lamar Stevens were out, so they had no length to defend. Again, the Cavs need a wing badly. Because when you're resorting to Jared Allen on the wing defending, that tells you have no length and you need length badly on the front, on the perimeter. But they were up there. They did well. Again, no Luka, right? So you got away with it. When they did play Luka, they had Lamar Stevens on him, and Lamar Stevens did a really good job with that. But today, they didn't really have a wing defender, and it showed. Christian Wood went off. I mean, part of it was just Christian Wood was just smacking everything, but he also went off because he was getting some good looks here. So Christian Wood and I think Tim Hardaway, did he have it? No, Tim Hardaway didn't really do much in this game, but I felt like Reggie Bullock did. Reggie Bullock went for what? No, he only went for 8. Kemba went off 32 points for old ass Kemba Walker. I forgot he was in the league till I saw him playing. I'm like, oh yeah, Kemba's in the league. But anyways, Evan's starting to take a leap. Donovan has taken a leap. Darius, DG, he's up and down. He's slumping right now. Like, his shooting ain't great. He was 1-6 from 3. He's slumping right now, but he'll be back. Like, we know Darius, sometimes he's in and out. He's slumping. He comes back always. Jared with 8 and 15. So the real workman night. And like, what's nice about with Evan being a lot better offensively now, which is, now Jared can just do the dirty work and focus on that, get some putbacks, get some dunks. He doesn't have to worry about trying to create offense, getting the ball in the post and taking some dribbles. He can just get the offense that comes natural to him, play defense, and Evan can take care of all the big stuff inside. Evan got to the foul line 5 times. I like how Evan can get to the foul. I like how Donovan Mitchell got to the line 8 times today. This is what I'm talking about. So I said this a couple of games ago, that the Cavs need to get better at this, and this is a step in the right direction. Now, they didn't make any of these free throws and went 13 and 22 from the line today, but still, the point still remains, which is they're going to have to play the way that they play, right? They play this half-court offense style, this very slow-paced style, and when you play that way, you need to be able to get to the foul line a little bit more than what the Cavs are doing in the playoffs, because you're going to have off shooting nights like they did today, where you're shooting 19% from 3 and you're shooting 42 from the field, and you just need to get to the line, right? Like, that's what the good teams do to get through these shooting slumps, which is get to the line. That's why these Cavs teams with LeBron were so resilient to shooting slumps, because they just get to the line. LeBron would just get to the line a million times. So it was nice to see them turn that switch on, play a more aggressive style, get to the line more often. That's how you get out these slumps. It was nice to see that they figured that out. But that's the coverage of those 2 games. Cavs now with a 14-2 home record. They're 20-11, y'all. Like, there's a lot of season that's been played. And their next few games are interesting, right? Because they're all home. So they play the Jazz, they play Milwaukee, they play Toronto, and they play Brooklyn. All right, man. All right. We'll see. We'll see if that home record holds true throughout that stretch, right? Because let's say out of those 4, you at least want to get 2, but you need to get 2. You want to get 4. You want to get 3 at least, right? You want to get one over Milwaukee or Brooklyn. Brooklyn's been playing much better. You got to beat Toronto and you got to beat Utah, but you really want to get Milwaukee and Toronto if you can get, not Toronto, Milwaukee and Brooklyn, but you really need to get one of those 2, right? Because those are going to be premier teams in the playoffs. But that's it for right now. You guys have a great day. Have a good night.